Hello there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I do a series of videos, advanced Dungeons and Dragons and other gaming stories. A lot of it is I try to be a little instructional because there's a lot of people out there who are new to gaming, and we need quality game masters, and so I'm trying to help them out a bit. I've been a game master, a dungeon master, since 1979, 1980, whatever. I mean, I've been playing a long time, and I've been running games for a long time. And there's things you learn over time that you have to learn. And so what I try to do is I give people the benefit of that experience. And I'm not the only one. There's other people all over the internet who give you advice on how to be a good dungeon master. So if you want to be a dungeon master, but you see, or any kind of a game master, but you think it's a daunting task, something you may not want to, like a hill you don't want to climb, you have help. We're here. We will help you. All you got to do is ask questions, and I'm glad to help. Okay? And again, I'm not the only one. There's really good DMs all over the internet, and they're more than willing to answer your questions. We want the game to prosper, because a game without players is useless. Right? All right, so this particular one is on creativity. One of the most enjoyable things about running a game, being a dungeon master, is the creative aspect. You have to come up with scenarios and campaigns. A scenario is your characters go on one mission, and that's that. Excuse me. A campaign is where your characters run a series of adventures all joined together into one long campaign all over the world, and the world is run by the dungeon master, the game master. It's called different things in different games, but the point is, in D&D, it's called a dungeon master. The various makers, publishers, creators of these games have put out a wealth of resource books. Like, for example, in Dungeons & Dragons, they have the monster manuals, different modules, generic non-player character books, all kinds of different stuff. Take advantage, okay? And a lot of these you can find on online. PDF version, or hell, if anything else, just look at some of the stories and they'll give you ideas. But my point is, these are all great. Plus, we have old magazines. I don't think they're in print anymore, but they used to have these magazines called Dragon Magazine and Dungeon Magazine. Dragon Magazine dealt with extra resources for the players, for the games, and Dungeon Magazine, as I recall, actually had dungeons in there, pre-made. So you could use those in your campaign. Very, very good stuff. I highly recommend. Dragon Magazine has a couple of articles. A plethora of paladins. I love that one because it always struck me that paladins had to be lawful good, but not all gods. Because they worship a god, right? But not all gods are lawful good. There's evil gods. Do the evil gods have paladins as well? You see what I'm saying? And they have different things. The other thing they have on there is an article called "It's a Material World." I did a video on spell components. Go check that one out. Dragon Magazine put out an article, and I think you can still find it online. But it's called "It's a Material World," and what it does is, every spell in the game has spell components of some kind, but verbal, somatic, or material. If it's material, you got to have the material components to cast the spell. A lot of game masters don't use material components, and that's fine. But if you want to, you can. And this article, "It's a Material World," tells how rare items are, and the spell components are, how much the relative cost of them, that kind of thing. And it's a very good resource. I highly recommend it. So check those out if you get the chance. The DM is perfectly justified in adding whatever they want from other sources or from his own imagination into a game. So if you're running a story and you can't find a monster that fits this one particular situation, make one. You can do that. I've done it. I've done a lot of them. Or you can take an existing monster and modify it a little bit. The trolls are notorious for regenerating, but they're vulnerable to fire. So a troll with a ring of fire resistance is a nasty critter. I did a video called "Fear the Rakshasa." The Rakshasa. It's a Rakshasa is a Hindu creature, and it's just nasty. Excuse me. And those things you could add little magic items to that, or beef them up a little bit, and they'll take on just about anything. A Rakshasa is nasty by itself, and you can modify critters to be different than what they are in the book. And you're, as a dungeon master, you're perfectly within your rights to do so. Okay. The only thing you have to do is, if you're adding stuff from your own imagination, take into account play balance, and I did a video on that, and game mechanics, meaning you have to know what kills a creature, you have to know the weaknesses, you have to know what it can do in game terms. In other words, if this creature shoots fire, is it burning hands? Does it use fireballs? Is it a breath weapon? That kind of thing. Put it in game mechanics so that it's easier for you to deal with. Makes everything easier. Good example, years ago, about adding different imaginative things to the game. Years ago, I was playing in my friend Art's game. Art runs a really great game. He's one of the best dungeon masters I know. I haven't seen him in years. I wish I could still play with him. The group had went through a magical portal into a weird land. Pay attention. Trees with tangerines, paper-thin flowers and of green and yellow, a river of chocolate with a boat made of wafers, and there were two girls. One of them had hypnotic eyes and wore a lot of diamond jewelry and stuff, and she was flying in the air, and one of them had glowing eyes and could teleport when you approached her. There were centaurs with rockers on their feet, and they were eating pastries with cream all over them, a sweet cream. At one point, we were like, what the hell? And one of the gamers, and I can't remember which one it was, it's been years ago, I think it was while I was in the Air Force. That was 86, 87, something like that. He recognized the contents of this weird land. Apparently he was a Beatles fan. Lucy in the sky with diamonds, rocking horse people, eating marshmallow pie. He took the lyrics of that song and created a little side adventure for us. You can do that. It's okay. The hypnotic eyes, the one girl with glowing eyes, she could shoot fire beams out of them. It was pretty cool. But inspiration can literally come from anywhere. And as a dungeon master, you can put anything into your world you want, as long as there's play balance and it fits the campaign. So, and it's your campaign, so you can do whatever you want. The more creative you are, the more your players will like it. The more they like it, the more they'll want to play. It's not a vicious cycle. It's a cool cycle. You folks have a good, and have fun playing. That's the main thing. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.